views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everyone, welcome. It's so great to have you all tune us in, turn us on, how Peruvian Maca works for increased stamina, athletic endurance, and energy with Maca expert Mark Ament joining me here today. And the reason that we're doing this show is because if you're anything like me, you're kind of looking at the change in the weather. We're moving into spring, and you're starting to think, wow, you know, I need to get a little bit more active. I need to be out there. And then you get active and you get out there, and you feel like, wow, all of a sudden I'm not having the stamina. I don't know how to keep the energy flowing. I don't know how to create that balance in my body and that system. And so what happens with us? Well, we get discouraged from taking ourselves out there and actually doing the exercise, and we don't know what to do about this feeling of fatigue. Well, one of the things that we're going to talk about today with the Maca team, and of course, what I want to say, my very special co-host here, Mark, is that there is a solution, and it's a really cool one, and it's a really yummy one. So today we're going to take you on a journey about Maca, what it really is, how it works. Can it be the supplement for muscle gain, which many of us need? And what is it that we could learn from raising our energy and doing it in a balanced way? So most of you out there that raise your energy, you're thinking, I'm going to get that can of whatever that is I'm getting. We're going to pop the top on that. I'm going to put that in my body, and I'm going to call it good. Well, maybe for about 10 minutes you're going to call it good. But today, there are 6 major reasons why people interested in building their bodies naturally use and recommend Maca powder. I think it is totally amazing, and I got a little table tennis story to tell all of you about. Mark, thank you for joining me here today. Welcome, 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 welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here, Pat. I'm glad we get to talk about this. It's one of my favorite things to talk about in regard to Maca as well.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that I said, and I would love for you to talk about it, is this idea of raising energy in a balanced way. So I'm not talking about taking a can of whatever you're going to take, or taking some caffeine, or doing this and do it, throw it in your body, and then, you know, call it good for about 10 minutes. We're talking about something that is going to sustain an energetic level in a balanced way in the body. And I would love to start out with that.
It's a great point. You mentioned caffeine or tein for people who like tea. Same effect.
Yep.
The way those things raise energy and what we feel, and I'm sure many of us are grateful for that at times. But they raise energy by essentially stressing out the adrenal glands, which has them produce more adrenals to basically put you in a flight or fight response mode.
Yeah.
And that's not good, adrenal stress over the long run. And as many people notice, what happens after you drink a coffee or a tea an hour later, depending on, you know, how strong it is, you often have a crash, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that energy go way down. A similar thing is true with eating a sugary kind of a sports drink, maybe, where it takes the energy really high from the sugar going up and then 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, crash down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of frustrating. These things that lead to that sort of temporary energy boost, and not saying we don't all need them and use them once in a while, because I certainly do when I have to get up early. I have a cup of green tea often. But what's amazing about the superfood maca is that it does not stress the adrenals at all. So it we're going to talk about the 6 points, but it raises the energy in a balanced way, which basically what that means is you're getting energy that's going to be long lasting. So a lot of people who take maca, they're not maybe going to have that initial sort of burst you get, like just say you've had a big cup of coffee, right. That initial sort of wide-eyed look, that doesn't come from maca typically. But what does come is sort of an enhanced, and maybe you can talk about this too, Dr. Pat, but an enhanced sort of focus, an enhanced sense of well-being, a more energy through the day, so you're carrying it over.
Totally. Yeah, and let me just tell you what I'm experiencing it in as well. I started to play table tennis on Sundays again, and I haven't played table tennis in for those of you out there, that's ping pong. I haven't played table tennis in a lot of years, like at a competitive level where you actually play the game to win, right? Oh. And here's what I was really struck by. 2 things. One, it's like riding a bicycle. There are some things that you don't forget. But I'll tell you what I'm really struck by, and maybe you can talk about it in terms of the maca, and that is, even though I didn't have enough, I haven't built up the muscles in my legs to move around, quite the way I used to, but the stamina was there. I mean, I was literally out there sweating for like 2 to 3 hours, game after game, and I shocked myself, Mark. I mean, I really did. People that know me are like, dude, we can't even believe you got up and went down there. And I'm telling you, I pitted out 2 shirts, but yet I wasn't fatigued. I mean, I was going like a little Energizer bunny. And I have to tell you, the only thing really for me that has been different has been the maca.
Awesome. So you haven't changed any other parts? No. You haven't been working out or playing?
No. This was, I'm just saying, no, awesome. Have not been working out. That's why I said to you, I've got to build the muscles in my legs so I can get around better. But that, didn't affect my stamina. It was really, I don't know if you've ever seen kind of table tennis at a fairly competitive level, like on the TV people.
I have. Yeah.
Right. So one of the things you'll know is you've got to be able to move, and you need to have muscles to do that. So that's what I'm working on now. But can you imagine playing, 4, 6, 8 games, right? One right after the other, good 2 to 3 hours going, putting the water in. That was shocking to me because Benny will tell you, I haven't done much of anything like that in a really long time. So I would love for you to talk with us about how the maca works, because I'll tell you my little formula for it is I always make sure that I eat beforehand, and I've been putting, as everybody knows, I've been putting the maca in my food as well as the drops. And I'd love to hear from you how that's even possible, especially if I might say at my age.
Yeah, wow. Age, that's cool. It doesn't discriminate by age. Isn't that cool? The maca, the body is still able to get the benefit. So that's really, really cool, I have to say. And
it is cool.
So I'll start with a little piece of research that tells what's happening. There was a 14-day trial of maca on some cyclists in Britain, professional bicycle riders, and the group that took maca compared to the control group reduced their cycling time by 7% in 14 days without doing anything else. And they're like wondering, how is this possible? And it's this hormone that we think it's tied to hormones. That's I should say that's what, excuse me, the research suggests. That hasn't been 100% proven, but it does make sense that the release of more hormones and more active hormones is going to increase this stamina. So it is scientifically based, basically, to say your experience is not something that is coming out of left field, and a lot of people get it. In fact, we have one of the women in our warehouse is dating a young man who's participating in the something called Ninja Warrior Games or something like this. It's one of these things where you have to do a lot of climbing. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he is actually going to I think he's in the top 25 now, going to the national thing.
Wow.
To determine who's going to be on the TV show, I guess. But anyway, he swears by the drops. He'll take them right before he goes out to compete. Yeah. And he says it gives him this extra boost. And that's one of the really exciting things about those extracts, the drops that we're talking about, is that it enters the bloodstream really quickly. And it gets the body, prepared. And we weren't sure. We've had those out for about 2 years, and when we started, we weren't sure what the exact benefit was going to be, relative to the powder. Right. But we've been really pleased, and it's interesting to hear that you say you've got similar results.
And you know what I forgot to tell you, and we'll talk about this when we come back. I put the drops in my water. Uh-huh. So I forgot about this because, yes, I love the drops because they're quick, they're easy. But I started to just very naturally put the drops in my water. So as I'm drinking water, and even while I'm playing, right, and I'm drinking the water that I'm playing in, that they have the drops in them.
Oh, very cool.
Wow, that's very cool. But I really was surprised. The other thing I want to talk about when we come back, if we could, is generally for me, when I go and I have an effort like that, hours of doing that, I can't walk for 2 days. But that's not been my experience. And I would love for you to talk about it, because the only thing that I've really done or have added differently to what I eat and how I eat it is the maca. When we come back, we're going to talk about that. What does that endurance mean in muscular stamina? How can maca, or is it happening for me where I maybe have a day where I got a few aches and pains, but not much at all. And I'm telling you, I am moving around. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll talk about the maca, but something I didn't know about it. Something really interesting. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
What if we really didn't have to die to go to heaven? Are you curious about the afterlife or rebirth? The highly anticipated new book from author Dr. Susan Allison, You Don't Have to Die to Go to Heaven, is available now. Find out how to find guidance and healing in the spirit realms. Order the book today and put it on your must-read list for 2016. Visit drsusanallison.com to learn more.
Join the Pacific Northwest EFT Tappers at the 6th Annual Tappers Gathering March 19th at Bastyr University in Seattle. You will learn EFT applications, forge a strong community, and share healing stories. The event raises money and awareness for EFT tapping scientific research. Net proceeds go to our 501c3 nonprofit to further prove the efficacy of EFT. Bring your cards and information for a fun and inspiring day of networking. Visit nwtappersgathering.com or call 360-661-6877.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com, That's ATAANA method.com and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's AtanaMethod.com.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Pat. Many of you have heard me talk about the Lyme disease epidemic going on right now in the world. I want to tell you about my friends at Results RNA. They have now created an entire Lyme support system for immune system support, detoxification, rejuvenation, and neurological healing. Please visit resultsrna.com to learn more, and for first-time orders, you'll receive a special 10% discount. All you have to do is type in Dr. Pat at checkout.
Francine Vale is a being of light. She believes that all people of planet Earth are as well. As co-host of the Angel Healer radio show, Francine teaches you heart-centered ways to manifest healing on your own behalf and how to integrate love more fully into your daily life. Connect with your angels as you find your life flowing with ease and harmony. Walk the path of light with Francine and Dr. Pat Basili every month on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hey everybody, I want to make sure that you find out more by going to the macateam.com website, the Maca, M-A-C-A, team.com. And as we always like to say on the show, there's plenty of information there. You're going to be able to find, and we've talked about this before, the highest quality Peruvian maca you could get. Today's show is perfect because I wanted to talk with Mark Ament about what I've noticed in myself, but it's hard to describe unless you know where you were before. And for me, my schedule's super busy, never worked out very much. And then I decided about 4 to 6 weeks ago that I was going to start to play table tennis again. And off I went. What I didn't realize that I would actually be able to play and really play hard for any more than about 15 minutes. I'm talking about getting there and playing hours and then not having that leg pain, arm. I had no pain, Mark, in my arms whatsoever, and I was shocked. And that's why, part of this for today's show is to talk about it. But maybe you can explain not only how does it boost the energy, but like I said before, I had no idea that there was protein in the maca. And tell us about that, because isn't that part of the balancing?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, and it's one of the things that maca has been known for, sort of in the natural health world, is among natural bodybuilding enthusiasts. And there are many out there who take maca and enjoy it. And part of it is because it is a good quality source of protein. And because it's a plant protein, it's a lot easier to assimilate than, say, an animal-based protein. So bodybuilders love that. That's not to mention, that's aside from the fact that it has been shown to be anabolic or muscle building. Actually, maca, of course, you have to move your muscles for it to work, right?
Right.
It's not like you can just eat it and sit on the couch.
Right.
Muscles grow, but
right.
It does support that, and part of that is the good quality protein. By weight, it's about 10.5% protein, which isn't the highest. Hemp seeds are much higher, but it's super high quality protein, and when you couple that with the amino acids, the B vitamins, and the minerals in there, it's a pretty dense nutrient bomb in a way, or a powerhouse that really helps the body. Interesting that you mentioned recovery.
Yeah.
Because it really does help the body to recover from intense workouts.
Yeah. That's what I didn't have the word for it. Recovery. That's it.
Yep.
That's the word. Where we all even walk, or we're starting to get back out again. And, I remember when I used to play, and my gosh, I couldn't walk for like days. And I'm telling you, I'm not really getting any of that. And,
awesome.
So how does the recovery work with this? I mean, I know it's got some characteristics, but I'm just so curious about this.
I should point out too, and I want all the listeners to know that, Pat, you've been taking our maca since when? Maybe would it have been like November or so that we
about that, right? Not very long at all.
Exactly, and yet enough time that it's built up in your system.
Yes.
And I just want to point out that for everybody listening, that maca is not like a caffeine pill or something like that where the effects might be felt right away. It is important to take it over time, and some of these broader benefits unfold, over time. So I just wanted to, make that a point so that people didn't expect, hey, I want to go jog for 40 minutes or 10 miles or whatever and feel like,
right.
Why
but,
did
we talked about this before. I mean, we're putting a food in our body. I mean,
Right.
We're putting something in our body that's also, first of all, it tastes great. And you sort of kind of love it. So it's kind of like it becomes this natural everyday thing.
Yep,
and I think that's important to think about. It's not like you sit down, or I did. It's just like you sit down and say, oh, I want to be able to play table tennis, in February. I want to be able to play table tennis for 3 hours. You're like, wait a minute. This is a great food. It tastes good. I want to feel better. And you start to feel better. And, I want to just say, I started to feel pretty good early on. And my schedule has gotten super busy. So there's no way, Mark, that I should be able to have the schedule I have right now and be able to go on a Sunday down the street here and play table tennis for 3 hours. I mean, Linda and I, we were talking about it, and the only thing we could come up with that I've done differently on a regular basis is the maca, both the powder and the drops. That's the only thing. And there's a couple of things I want to ask you about. Let's talk about muscle for a little bit, because that's the other thing now I'm noticing. I'm not a muscle builder, but I will tell you, just that little bit of table tennis, I am starting to develop muscles again in parts of my body that I'd say, haven't had them. Tell us about how that works in that way.
Right. Well, the word anabolic itself, it means building up muscle. And, so when something's considered anabolic, it promotes that. So maca does that in a couple of ways. One is the protein and the nutrient structure from the amino acids. That's going to help the body to build muscle. The second way is through balancing the hormonal system, because young people often put muscle on much quicker because the body's building up. So when you want to build muscle, you want to have a balanced hormone system. Athletes get in trouble for this, for taking something like human growth hormone or testosterone shots or whatever, things like that. Maca, you don't need to do that with maca, because it is naturally producing a balanced hormonal state. And many of us, as we age or, due to lifestyle circumstances, our hormone system is wrecked, actually. Yeah. And so the maca is gonna do that and give you that positive, hormone kick. So those two ways, and then the third way is, I think, kind of what you're experiencing is like, hey, I'm feeling better now. Yeah. I'm gonna go out and play some table tennis. And guess what? When you move the muscles, what happens? They get bigger and stronger. It's no mystery in that, right?
Well, it's interesting you said that, because I didn't really think about the psychology of it until you just mentioned it. It was, I actually did feel better well enough to say, wow, I think I'll go down there on Sunday and play table tennis. Because before that, no, it wouldn't have entered my mind. It would have been more like, wow, I've got like 3 hours on a Sunday. I think I'm just going to veg out. But I'm like, no, I've rearranged my entire schedule, so that, I can go down there and do that. That's an interesting thing you talked about. And you know what? It leads me to the question about hormones, because hormones, adrenals, everything affects us mentally as well. Can you talk about the mental what happens to us mentally? Do we get mental clarity? Because that is something you just said I hadn't thought about.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think, and I haven't, researched it into a lot of depth as to how maca can affect the mind, but what I have seen and the research that is out there and sort of the experience is that when you take maca, the whole system, I think we talked about it being an adaptogen or a kind of a food that raises your overall life force energy. And this is pretty well documented, and a lot of people have talked about it in various places. Ginseng, by the way, for those of you listening who might know that, is another one of those rare plants that do that. So they raise your overall sort of life force, and that's going to help pick people up out of depression. We've got a lot of people who've mentioned that. Yeah. That they come out of depression with it. Some people have even eliminated, with the help of their doctor, some of the medicines for depression they were taking. And then it does, when you are feeling better, you think clearer. You have better focus. And it helps you then to move your body when you get the body, sort of this crazy monkey body around, move it around, then your mind is actually calmer, actually. I used to sit in graduate school and wonder why I even needed a body, and I was really happy to move it afterwards. So maca, by raising that life force energy and then helping those hormones balance, I think the hormone imbalance is probably very much understudied, is in my sense, and can be related to so many things. That's why, when you read through our maca benefits page on our website, I mean, it's a long list of things this stuff does, and you're wondering, gosh, how could one thing do all these things and be researched scientifically and be backed up by lots of testimonials and people sharing, things like you're sharing, and it's because of that the positive effect it has on the hormonal system. Yeah.
And, and one of the things we'll talk about when we come back from break is I want to review with everybody again what this word adaptogen is about, what that really means, because it's a very, very powerful, it's a process, and it's a very powerful process. And I really want to walk through that because, what I love about this is there's this normalizing effect that happens, but it happens in such a subtle way. And many people say, Mark, they say, wait a minute, the reason I don't take that drink or I don't use that fizz or I don't do this is because it gets me all crazy and jacked up and then I can't really function. But we are not talking about that. And I just want to make it very clear that we're not. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about a couple of ways to use this. How do we do it? What are some of the things we can create? How about the smoothie? This is what I have found one of the most incredible ways to do this, both smoothies and quinoa. When we come back, know that if you are using something like maca, it is an adaptogen. What can you expect? Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
What are vibes? We often use this word, but did you know vibes can actually be useful and help solve our everyday challenges? Embark on an exciting learning journey with Caitlin Keat, 11-time Visionary Award winner, specialist in vibrational energy, and the creator of Vibes Up. Join Caitlin as she takes you through the world of vibrational therapy and energy healing, with natural solutions for a modern world. Visit vibesup.com to learn more today.
Put a little woohoo in your life with Keys. Keys Clear Protein Waters have 22 grams of smile-making, attitude-adjusting protein in every bottle. Did I mention its tongue-tingling taste? Not just another guilty pleasure. With Keys, you'll enjoy every low-sugar sip and freedom from gluten, lactose, and GMOs. Who needs the fountain of youth when you can find Keys on Amazon or at Keys, Kees, please.com. Put a little woohoo in your attitude with Keys Protein Water.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Hey Owen, I just heard about this book on the Dr. Pat Show, and these reviews on Amazon are amazing.
Oh yeah? What's the book?
It's called Conscious Being by T.J. Woodward.
Oh, he's the Awakened Living radio host.
Yeah, this book looks like just the guide we've been looking for to really connect and make those conscious changes in our everyday relationships and experiences.
I love it. Can we get it on our Kindle apps?
Of course.
To learn more about Conscious Being and author T.J. Woodward, visit ConsciousBeingBook.com.
Do you want the freedom to spend more time with your loved ones? Travel the world? Live spontaneously? Get ready, because the Chip Justice Show is here. Hosts Dr. Pat Basile and Chip Justice can help you build meaningful success while embracing life. Living a life you love is the end game in this new, inspirational, and empowering show. Positive changes for a life you'll love. Tune in every month on TransformationTalkRadio.com and visit PositiveChangeInstitute.co for more information.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I want to just make sure all of you have the information that gets you to the page that you can find the maca that we're talking about. And best place to get the maca, and I have to tell you, for the best prices, is to go to themacateam.com. That's themacateam.com. And what you're going to find is you're going to find a variety of options. And Mark and I have talked about this on previous shows. But I want to just say, if you call and you're not sure, well, which one was Pat talking about, or, I'm not sure what to buy for what. There are people there that can help you. And all you need to do is call, and I'm going to make sure everybody out there has got the phone numbers, but it is the THE-MACA, M-A-C-A team.com. So when you go there, you'll be able to take a look at the various forms of maca. Mark and I are going to talk about some of these. But the phone number is 888-919-8616, 888-919-8616. And I just want to be clear about what I've been doing, and maybe, Mark, you can help with this, is I have been taking a combination of the maca root and in powder form, as well as the drops. And I'm the kind of person that needs to have a habit of things. So what I do is the maca is super great, in smoothies. The powder is super great in the smoothies and on quinoa and a bunch of other places that I love to just put it. Even if I have, if I'm doing yogurt or something, it's great. The drops, and I was telling Mark this, is I've noticed two things about the drops. I love to put the drops in the water. And I was sharing with him that I drink a lot of green tea. And I started to put the drops in the green tea, and it actually makes the green tea taste better. So if you go to the website, you're going to find out lots about this. Mark, thank you for today. And we'll talk about this because I think this question that's coming in is going to really help out a lot. The question is coming in from Julie, and thank you, Julie, for the question, and says, Dr. Pat, thank you so much for the show today. And I heard that, or I'm hearing that you're putting the drops in water. Can you tell me how long the effect of the drops in the water last? Meaning, how quickly do I have to drink the water, Mark?
That's a good question.
Isn't that a good question? I love that. Julie, thank you.
Yeah. Your listeners always have some really good questions, I notice. So that's great. I'll do my best here to answer that.
All right.
So our extracts are made with vegetable glycerin, certified organic, coconut-based vegetable glycerin. We do that so kids can take them instead of alcohol extracts, because you can extract with alcohol. We've read research that glycerin is also better for extracting more nutrients. There's a little bit of controversy on that, but anyway, we like them because they also taste good, as you said. You mix them in and to a green tea, and it even sweetens it up a little bit. So,
it does.
So the nutrients, this is done in a cold process, by the way. There's no heat added. So we start with our raw maca powders, and then it's a 6-week process that extracts the main nutrients from maca and leaves it in this glycerin. So the nutrients are pretty well protected within the molecules of the glycerin themselves. So it is going to last longer than, say, like a green smoothie. Those oxidize really quickly once they're out of the blender, within an hour.
Right.
You've lost a significant amount of the nutrition. The drops are going to last longer, especially in water. I mean, especially if you've got it in a bottle that's sealed.
Right.
The big enemy is going to be oxygen and the oxidation process. So I would say, you would be fine, with 4 or 5 hours is my guess. I mean, I haven't researched this specifically, but I do think that especially with a closed bottle, you're going to be fine at that level. One thing I would suggest, if you're going to put it in the water, you're probably taking some drops anyway, and then you drink your water as you're playing table tennis or whatever.
Right.
But so you may not have time to do this in the middle of competition, but one of the benefits and one of the best ways to get the benefit from the extracts is to hold the water, or water in this case, or the maca extract drops under your tongue for 20 to 30 seconds. Why? Because it's going to enter your bloodstream much quicker. So you could swish that water around in the mouth for a little bit and drink it down. It'll be interesting to experiment with, but I would just make that suggestion for anybody wanting to try that as well.
I like that because, just so you know, when I stop to drink the water, I'm usually putting it down. I mean,
I could imagine.
You got to imagine me like that, a hot, sweaty mess right there.
Yeah.
And just drinking that water down. And, so definitely it's floating around in there for a while. But, the question really was a great question. Thank you for asking that, because I could understand where that kind of question would come from, Mark. It would come from, some of the other products that are out there that are basically like, yeah, you got to drink it in this period and do this in that period. But the question really remains, why does this really work? And I know we're going to talk about, we have some very great examples of people that are using this for muscle gain. But just refresh us on why this is, as an adaptogen, what the power of this is. Because I think this is the key, right? It's the difference between putting something in your body that's actually going to benefit your body and most of the other stuff we put in there.
Yeah, well, let's, to do that, let's kind of read the sort of textbook definition of an adaptogen here. And an adaptogen is a very rare plant that, when consumed, raises the physical body's state of resistance to disease through physiological and emotional health improvements. Adaptogens have a normalizing effect, i.e. counteracting or preventing disturbances to homeostasis brought about by stressors. That's kind of a technical definition. But maca works in that way to basically boost resistance, to boost immune resistance, to energize the body as an adaptogen. As I mentioned, ginseng is the other most common one.
Right.
And what that means, what's really cool about it as well, is that it doesn't discriminate gender. It's not gender specific in any way. It helps men or women, and it kind of, I think where the word adaptogen originally originated in this context is it adapts to the needs that a certain person's body presents. So it's adaptable. The benefit is adaptable. So I may not have the exact same benefit that you have from maca because my body is in a different situation, you know.
Right.
So an adaptogen it's a very powerful thing. It's not just like, and that's what we see and why maca gets more and more popular, because it's not so simple as, you know, just having an antioxidant property, which, you know, like goji berries, for example. I love goji berries. I eat them regularly for their antioxidant properties, but I don't feel significantly different when I do that. But with maca, you do. And that's the difference, you know, or 90% of people do. I would say there's a few people who take it regularly and didn't get quite what they wanted. So that can happen, full disclosure, but it's not very, very common, which is amazing that this little humble root, right? We've talked about it before. It's just a little humble root vegetable grown in the high Andes that just has all these amazing properties. And we're really lucky to be able to, you know, get it worldwide now. It's
very
really
lucky.
amazing.
Very lucky. And, you know, one of the things I want to say to everyone, yes, if you go to the website, themacateam.com, I just got another question in, you're going to be able to look at the labels. And when you look at the labels, I got a great question that just came in about fat. How much fat does it contain? And I haven't been able to find any fat in what I'm looking at.
No, there's no fat.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's like 0.01
right.
of the RDA. It's next to nothing.
Right.
You know.
And no fillers. I mean, I guess you know, folks are wanting to ask, I guess folks have had other experiences with maca with some of these questions. Yes, you are going to find products out there that are not pure 100% red maca or any kind of maca. You're not going to find them certified organic like we're talking about here. Fair trade, GMO free. And so just want to say, go to the website, The Maca Team, and you're going to be able to look on every package and see what's on the label. But that is really something we've talked about in other shows, Mark, right? We've talked about the fact that this is Peruvian, organic, fair trade.
That's all we do. That's all we'll ever do. We've talked about the crisis last year with Chinese maca coming into the scene, and you know, I would shut the business down before I would sell any Chinese maca. You know, for many reasons that we talked about, and Peru is just the place where maca was where it originated, and it grows. You know, the farmers we work with, the co-op we work with, grows the most amazing stuff, as evidenced by the people who are customers who love it so much. And yeah, it's really important to note that, you know, just because something says maca, it may be diluted with something else. There may be other ingredients. What we have is 100% pure Peruvian grown maca powder. That also applies to our capsules, which we are able to make in-house. So we know exactly what's in there. There's nothing else put in there. And like Pat said, you know, read our labels and you can see we're transparent on that.
Yeah. And we actually did that. For those of you out there, as you know, we've been doing this for 13 years. And before, you know, we bring folks on, let me just make sure that you all know that there are many, many people out there that are wanting to bring maca to your doorstep. And I want to tell you, we spent a lot of time with Mark and the Maca team. And I'm going to tell you, it's not only some of the best maca I've ever come across, but the prices. And we've talked about this as well. You know, these folks here, it's a family-run business, and they are going to bring you the best of the best and, you know, continue to look at ways to reduce the prices of this. And, you know, the Maca team are the only folks that I know are doing this. Now, I know, Mark, you've got a couple of stories. I want to make sure we get them in. You know, there are people that have been taking maca, and other than me playing table tennis, you've got a couple of other stories to share.
We do. I have quite a few, actually. I have to say, let's see. I'll start with one of the more recent ones. So we've got we sponsor. I mentioned the guy who did who's doing the Ninja Warrior thing, and we're getting ready to sponsor him, by the way, which would be really cool. And I hope he makes it on TV. That would be awesome for us. But we've got another guy who's a professional MMA fighter, and he says he's been taking our maca. We sponsored him for about 3 years now, and he's a little older for that sport. He's like in 31, 32, but he says, it helps him keep up with the younger guys. He says, he lives in LA, and when he bikes 60 miles a day, if you can believe that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
To stay in shape. And he said, after taking maca, I was just powering over the hills and impressing all my cycling buddies. His training is increased so much. We've got an article on our website about him. If anyone just looks up the term MMA on our website, they'll get to Mike Colzer is his name. And so it's so amazing to see that the benefit he's getting and how much he loved it. In fact, he was just a customer at first, and he loved it so much he contacted us. He said, "Hey, I want to put this on my T-shirts and my warm-up gear.
Nice.
Is there any way you'd sponsor us, me?" And I said, sure. He said, I will do it anyway, honestly. But I said, sure, So that's an example of an athlete, a professional athlete who's loving it, and obviously has to be careful with what he puts in his body because of the rigors of the training. But just he's really getting that boost. And interestingly, he recently broke his ribs, and he said the recovery with taking maca was about half the time compared to when he had done that before. So again, recovery.
That makes sense to me, because that's my experience about this. I'm somebody that really hasn't moved around kind of like I'm moving around on a Sunday in a really long time. And, I literally expected to be super sore and not be able to play again. But I've also noticed something really interesting, and maybe this is something you could talk about as well. I know we've got a couple of other stories to share, is that in between, let's say that I take a 5-minute break or something in between games, I'm recovering really quickly in between games. And I found that pretty interesting. I found that interesting. I'm not quite sure how that's happening, but I'm noticing that. And it's kind of like I'll get tired for a little bit. You're playing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and then you stop, and I stop to get water, and I sit down for a few minutes. I can pop right up and get back right back out there. And I found that kind of interesting. I'm a little bit, and everybody's like, "Take it easy, Pat, take it easy." I'm like, okay, I understand what they're saying, but we can pay attention to our bodies, right, Mark?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have to say, I recently, maybe it is the spring fever. Personally, I recently started doing some CrossFit exercise.
Oh yeah.
Which I used to wrestle in high school and college, so I kind of like the intense things, but I hadn't done much in sort of weightlifting and moving about like that in a long time. And I have to say, I'm really glad I have maca for that. Yeah. I'm mostly doing it because I love mountain biking, like I mentioned to you. And I've been taking maca for a long time, but when I started that at the beginning, I noticed lots of improvement in my mountain biking endurance, the times I would be able to ride on the same courses. So it's something that, and I noticed that people my age, I'm 47, and I noticed that other folks, in the gym I've been going to are not, recovering as fast. They come the next day and they're pretty sore, and they start to ask me, "Hey, what's going on?" So I have a nice thing to share with them. Maybe I can send them the link to our conversation today too.
I think that for me, what I'm really looking at now is I'm just watching what's happening, Mark, and I know that we weren't slotted to talk about that today, but here's what I'm noticing. I've recently had to, I had the opportunity to really help somebody in an assisted living environment. And I was really stunned at, what people are being given in terms of putting in their body for, for fitness, for protein, and it's mostly sugar. And I just think that there's such a missed opportunity in not being able to really look at, a superfood like this. Because if you take the amount that is needed, to give people the kind of physical well-being that a case of protein drink with sugar, there's like no comparison. What do you think it's going to take to communicate, first of all, how easy the benefits of this really is, and how important it is to people, given what we're eating here?
It takes every one of us out there just spreading the word, and passing it on to a friend, and saying, listen, try this. Try it, because that's the great thing. It's something you can try, and it's not super expensive either. It's way less than a cup of coffee per day. Right. Like works out to around less than $1 a day with most of our products. So that's awesome, right? I mean, would you be willing to try something for 30 days, invest $30 if you thought you could, play table tennis again at that level in your case? Of course, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you thought it might help you have more focus at work and do your job better and more efficiently, or, of course you'd try it. So that's what it takes. It has changed a lot, as you know, over the past 10 years. People have started to more open up to alternative nutrition, to find out what is really good food. That's a big theme now. Yeah. And it wasn't before. And the reason that is because more and more people are getting experience of feeling healthier by changing their diets or adding in something like maca, and they're telling people. They're not saying,
what's even scarier though, Mark? The idea of not having the maca now. Yeah. Because, it's interesting. We're talking to folks that may not have bought it yet. And I would say, please go ahead and do that. But for what you just said to me, I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. What if I were to stop taking it? I'm not sure where I would get the stamina from to be able to do this. And, and I'm just talking about one thing, but I'm kind of like you. I'm out in the world. You own your own business. You're doing a radio show. We've got a lot of things going on. True. And yet at the same time, I'm probably like everybody listening to this. It would be great for me to go to the grocery store and get all, great fruits and vegetables and do that every day. But I just don't do it. Yeah. And this has really been my way of securing my health for myself. And it's so easy to do. That's my point.
It's super easy. It's put it in a powder, or put the powder in a shaker jar, which we actually do sell a little shaker jar if you don't have one. But just put it in there with a little water. You can use almond milk, whatever. Mix it up. Down it goes. You're done. Rinse it out. It's not like making a juice and going through juicing or something, which is also wonderfully healthful, but takes a lot more time. This literally will take you like 20 seconds, from start to finish, which is wonderful. And as you said, we do have a lot of lifelong customers, who people say that I'm just going to keep taking this. And we, our commitment is to always supply the best. We don't sell in stores outside of a very few tiny health food stores. Why? Because we want to make sure we're getting the highest quality we can from our farms. And so we won't, if you get into super high volumes, you might have to compromise to meet quotas for, like a Whole Foods or something. So we're online. And I do want to mention, Pat, while I'm here, that we have a special for all your listeners.
Perfect.
And that's great. When you go to themacateam.com/Pat, just P-A-T, you'll find a discount code that's just for listeners like you. And it's it actually applies to all our product line.
Yeah, so, and I forgot about that. Yeah, Mark has been doing this, the whole Maca team, everybody has been doing that. But I really want to encourage you guys to call 888-919-8616, because what's going to happen is you're going to have questions and they're going to help you. I mean, Mark and everyone's been so great in helping me figure out what to do when. But if you call, you're going to be able to understand this. The website, though, I just say you can do comparisons. There's lots of information. But give them a call, 888-919-8616. Mark, thank you so much.
Tides that I tried to swim against.